Kirtan, amazing Kirtan, one of the best Kirtans of the entire week. It happens to her 12:30 to 1 o'clock. All the spots and then followed with Nashila prayers. Every part of Sunday feast is very, very important. And the cherry on the cake is the Sunday feast class. Today, we are very fortunate to have with us her grace, Sri Gaurangi Mataji. She doesn't need any introduction. Everyone is very familiar. But to glorify such a wonderful, sincere Vaishnava is our honor. It is our privilege. More importantly, it glorifies us completely. Sri Gaurangi Mataji, very highly qualified. She was always top in her education. In schools, colleges, everywhere. Engineering graduate, and then Mataji took up Krishna consciousness more than 16 years before, much more than that, and she has been practicing very sincerely from day one. My Devi, Dasi, whom you all know, which I just have, she would say, there are 4 qualities that stand out for Gaurangi Mataji. Under organizational skills, very organized. Thorough. You will see when you go through this presentation how organized Mataji is. And as Prabhupada said, for any successful institution, 2 things are organization and intelligence. So the second quality is intelligence. Organization, intelligence, then sincerity, and more importantly, perseverance. All these qualities are so much in full, and Mataji is a very practitioner. And he's sharing this message of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, all from those days. Mataji, we are very, very grateful to you that you agreed to give us and enlighten us in Sunday feast class. Now let us put together and say one Hare Krishna Mahamantra with our hands. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Sri Gaurangi Mataji ki Jai.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Not qualified, but as always, you glorify with your heart. So very grateful to have God brothers like you. So thank you everyone for joining the Sunday Feast at ISKCON Farmington Hills. I know a lot of devotees are out and you could have been doing so many things. You chose to come here. That shows your love and affection for Shri Shri Radha Gopi Janvatam. So thank you so much. I don't have any qualification. So I honestly don't have any qualification or realization to be speaking. But as you know, a lot of devotees are traveling. So in their absence, I'm just going to fill in and try to repeat what all I have heard in the past. We'll start with our prayers. You can all join in. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhambitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyeva cha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। करोति वाचालं पंगुं लङ्घयते यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरु दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्री चैतन्येश्वर। We'll also recite these verses. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire. नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः. So normally these verses are recited before Srimad Bhagavatam class. And why I recited these verses will become clear when the topic for today's Sunday feast will come up. So, when I was asked to give this class, I was thinking what topic should I choose? Because Sunday feast class topic should be one which is relevant to us, which we can relate to. And of course, it has to be a Krishna conscious subject matter, but it should be relevant as to how we deal with it in our day to day life. So, this last year, when we were enrolling for Sunday school, normally when an outsider comes, the most common question for Sunday school is, so what is your curriculum? So normally we would say our curriculum is based on Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and then we teach dramas and musical instruments and all of that. And most of the time what I've seen is people will say, okay, so Bhagavad Gita I know. Yeah, we read Bhagavad Gita. We have Bhagavad Gita at home. My children also know shlokas. This is how normally the conversation goes. And then they would say, Bhagavatam, what is that? What is Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita? Absolutely no idea. So nobody goes there. So normally the discussion comes from, okay, we have Bhagavad Gita, we know Bhagavad Gita, and what is Srimad Bhagavatam? So I thought, okay, this is a nice opportunity. Let me just remind myself about why we choose to keep our Sunday school curriculum based on Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. So that brings us to our topic for today, the Sunday feast topic, the what and wow of Srimad Bhagavatam. So when my children asked, they were like, what kind of a name have you kept for your class? I said, but luckily they understood. So what is Srimad Bhagavatam and how great is Srimad Bhagavatam? So most of the people sitting here, I know I take inspiration from you people you chose to be the servants of Sri Sri Radha Gopijan Vallabh, serving them. You chose to be in this movement. So most of you would already know. So if there is anything that could be of your use, it is the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. We will try as much as possible to cover, but since Srimad Bhagavatam is such a vast topic, it's practically not possible. We will try as much as we can. Okay, so the inspiration to study Srimad Bhagavatam, comes from, of course, its glories. Why Srimad Bhagavatam, but also for the point that how it is relevant in our own lives. Like we must have heard, Srimad Bhagavatam is glorious. It's a wonderful Puran. It's a great book. Most of the people who do not even, are not quote unquote ISKCON people, they would have also heard Bhagavad Sapta, That's very common. Everybody must have heard Bhagavat Sapta, but everybody is like, it's something that requires a lot of manpower, a lot of money, and it is something great. So that is what the general conception of Srimad Bhagavatam is. So why we should study Srimad Bhagavatam, but there has to be a relevance in our own life, right? It's great, but what does Srimad Bhagavatam have in it for us? Why should we study Srimad Bhagavatam? Right? That's a genuine question. So in our next 45 minutes or so, we are going to dive into this topic and try to see why we should study and what is there in Srimad Bhagavatam for all of us. So we all know Krishna, he comes, he makes his enchanting appearance almost 5,000 years ago as the son of Devaki and Vasudeva. Yeah, of course, Nanda Maharaj also, but he comes as the son of Mother Devaki and Vasudevji. So he's born and then he comes in his four-handed form, and Mother Devaki says, no, she's scared. Why don't you come as a normal baby? And Krishna turns himself into a normal baby. And then we all know the pastime. Krishna is further transferred to Vrindavan to become the son of Nanda Baba and Yashoda Maiya. And there in Vrindavan, Krishna performs a lot of pastimes. Most of the pastimes we all know, right? So Damodar Leela, some of the pastimes the children, I see no Sunday school, so let's have Sunday school here. Children, what are the pastimes? Some of Krishna's pastimes. What is your favorite pastime? Radhe, what is your favorite pastime of Krishna? Anything. You can look and take help from the pictures. Damodar Leela. Krishna, you like Krishna being bound? Okay. Yeah, so Damodar Leela, then there is subduing of Kaliya, so many pastimes, right? Krishna performs those pastimes. And towards the end, when Krishna is finishing his manifesting journey, his journey on this planet, he also gives Bhagavad Gita, the teachings of Bhagavad Gita and Uddhav Gita, right? So when he basically, this point shows that Krishna, through his actions and through his words, both, he teaches us, right? But the question is, why did Krishna have to take so much effort to do all these pastimes? What was the need for Krishna to come? And that answer, Krishna himself gives in Bhagavad Gita. So we'll just do call and response if it's okay. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So why did Krishna have to take so much effort to descend on this earth? Krishna himself answers. Anybody would like to volunteer to read the translation? Go ahead, Pam.
As well as to establish the principles of religion, I myself appear
Millennium
after millennium.
Yes. So it's clear why Krishna comes. Now, in this, one point is very important to establish the principles of religion. So basically, when Krishna comes, dharma is established, right? Now, when Krishna comes, dharma is established. But when Krishna finishes his pastimes and ascends back to Golok Vrindavan, then the question should arise in our heart, then where does dharma take shelter? Where does dharma take shelter after Krishna leaves? When Krishna leaves this planet, where does dharma take shelter? Krishna doesn't go alone. Krishna goes along with knowledge and dharma, knowledge and religion. So so the question is, where does the dharma take shelter? That answer comes from Srimad Bhagavatam. Let's recite. Krishna Swadhamupagate Dharma Jnanadhibhi Saha Kalau Nashta Drishamesha Puranarko Dhunodita. So, the translation is, this Bhagavad Puran is as brilliant as the sun, and it has arisen just after the departure of Lord Krishna to his own abode, accompanied by religion, knowledge, etc. Persons who have lost their vision due to the dense darkness of ignorance in the age of Kali shall get light from this Puran. So basically, Krishna establishes dharma, Krishna goes back, dharma goes back with Krishna, and then Krishna again descends in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. So dharma takes shelter in the form of book Bhagavatam. Okay. Now, so we all know the Dashavatars, right? So when Krishna comes as fish incarnation, what is he called? Matsya. Then Matsya, Kurma, Varaha. Say the Dashavatars. Kurma, Varaha, Narsinga, Devan, Bhavana, Parshurama, Rama, Balrama, Krishna. Kalki is the last of all to follow Kali Yuga, right? Something like that. Yes. So when all these incarnations come, then they enact their leelas, their particular leelas. Same way, when Krishna comes in the form of book, he is called, what is he called? Yeah, but what is he called? Grantha. That's why we say Grantha Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. So the speciality of this Grantha Avatar, when any avatar, they perform the pastimes of that particular avatar only. But in this avatar, in the form of Grantha Avatar, it contains the activities of all the other avatars, right? So Supreme Personality of Godhead in book form is Srimad Bhagavatam. Now let us see what happens at the beginning of the creation. Okay, so any ideas, like what must have happened in the beginning when creation happens? Whose name comes in your mind first? I'm talking about secondary creation. Brahmaji, right? So what happens at the beginning of creation is Brahmaji, he creates Vedas. Now those Vedas, Brahmaji has 4 heads, right? So those Vedas come out of the 4 mouths of Brahmaji, right? All left and right, all the Vedic mantras come out of the mouths of Brahmaji. But those Vedas, those mantras could be compared to precious, colorful jewels, right? And they were just flowing out of Brahmaji's mouth. Now imagine it would have created a big pile of precious jewels, colorful jewels, but they are all mixed, right? So Brahmaji gave the Vedas, but it was a combination of all the Vedas. And then who segregated the Vedas? Vedavyas. Vedavyas segregated the Vedas into how many Vedas? 4 Vedas, correct. And it was like, segregation of, okay, red jewels one side, blue jewels one side, green jewels. For our understanding, we can understand like that. So the segregation was done into 4 Vedas. The names of the 4 Vedas are Rigved, Yajurved, Atharved, and Samaved. Now, this segregation was done by Vedvyas. Now, Vedvyas doesn't stop there. He further continues. What does he do? Not only at the Vedas. Vedvyas also wrote the Puranas. How many Puranas are there? 18 Puranas. How many Upanishads? 108 Upanishads, then Itihas, all those things. So Ved Vyas is not an ordinary personality. Ved Vyas is called literary incarnation. So how many of us here have, has a patent or has a paper under their name? Anybody here has a patent or paper under their name? You're planning to do? Okay. Okay. So when we do something, what does it give to our heart? When we do something, when you write a paper, okay, you don't have something in your hand, but think we all have given exams. When we give a good exam, what do we feel in our heart? Satisfaction and happiness. So just one exam, one paper, one patent, we feel so happy. Look at Ved Vyas. Look at the scholarly ability of Srila Ved Vyas. He wrote so many literatures, and not ordinary literatures, so many powerful literatures he wrote. But what was his condition? He was very, very sad, despondent, morose. He was not happy. Ved Vyas ji was not happy. Srila Vyasdev was not happy. And he was not feeling satisfied in his heart. And he contemplated on that I've done so much literary work, so many scriptures I have composed. Why am I not happy? So whenever we are in trouble, who do we seek help from? Spiritual master, our guru, with whom we can share our heart. And that is what Srila Vyasdev does. He goes to his guru. And who is Srila Vyasdev's guru? Narad Muni. Yes. So Ved Vyas is so sad and unhappy, and he's sharing his despondency with Narad Muni. And Narad Muni, like a wonderful teacher that he is, Narad Muni gives Vyasdev the reason for his despondency. So what does Narad Muni say? Narad Muni says, the reason that you are sad and unsatisfied in your heart is because you have not sufficiently glorified Sri Krishna in any of your literatures. Sufficiently glorified Sri Krishna. And that is what is making you feel so sad within. You need to write a literature which will be exclusive for the glorification of the Supreme Personality of God. Because only when Sri Hari is satisfied, then the Jiva can be satisfied. Otherwise, it's all what is it called? Superficial happiness. One day there, another day gone. And another reason, not only one reason, second reason Narad Muni gives, the second reason for your sadness is in all the scriptures that you have written, you have overly emphasized the four Purusharthas. What are the four Purusharthas? Dharma, Artha, Kam and Moksha. So, normally you would ask, so what is the problem? Dharma, Artha, Kam, Moksha. These are Purusharthas. What is the problem if Vyasdev has overly emphasized on these four Purusharthas? How is it wrong? So, the problem is, see, Dharma, Artha, Kam and Moksha. When we perform dharmic activities, ritualistic activities, the reason generally people perform dharmic activities is the second step is to get artha, which is money. Then what will you do with that money? You are going to satisfy your kama. Kama means sense gratification. I want this, I want that. I don't want this for another person. All that thing, that sense gratification will come. And how much can sense gratification last? Sometimes for millions of years. It's up to us for how many years we want the sense gratification to last. But the ending point of any kind of sense gratification, whether it is eating something that we like, whether it is taste sense gratification, whether it is mind sense gratification, whether it is bodily sense gratification, at any cost, any kind of sense gratification in the end leads to frustration. Okay? And when that frustration happens, what does the Jiva want to do? Jiva wants to attain moksha. And it's not Generally, the kind of moksha is the jiva wants to merge in the Brahman. And no question of service. Let me merge in the Brahman. So impersonal Brahman, Sayuji. So let me do that. So this kind of materially motivated dharma is not encouraged. Okay. So why this kind of materially motivated religion is not encouraged is because the jiva, as jiva souls, what is our identity? What is our identity? We are part and parcel of Krishna, meant to serve Krishna. Jivera swarupa hoy, Krishnera nityadas. Yes. Let's recite. Jivera swarupa hoy, Krishnera nityadas. Krishnera tathaste sakti, veda veda prakash. Anybody wants to read the translation?
It is the living entity's constitutional position to be an eternal servant of Krishna, because he is the marginal energy of Krishna and a manifestation simultaneously one with and different from the Lord.
Yes. So it is our constitutional position to be an eternal servant of the Lord. And what is the duty of a servant? To serve, to render service. And this service includes the 9 processes of devotion. We all know the 9 processes. Let's recite them. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. So these 9 processes, any of these 9 processes or all of these 9 processes combinedly are called what is called devotional service. So this is what a jiva is supposed to do. But when a jiva is engaged in only following the 4 purusharthas, then there is no question of receiving ultimate happiness. To receive ultimate happiness, we have to move from 4 purusharthas to the 5th purushartha, which is service to the Lord. Okay, so Narad Muni inspires Srila Vyasdev to write about Bhakti Yoga, and by doing that, he will become satisfied and his despondency will go away. And that is what Vyasdev, we talked about how Vyasdev had written Puranas. 18 Puranas were written. Everybody knows, right? 6 Puranas were for the people who were in mode of goodness. Then next 6 for mode of passion. And next 6 for people who are in mode of ignorance. So at any point, people can progress. So Vyasdev had already written Bhagavad Puran. It was already there, but he revises that Bhagavad Puran and he sufficiently glorifies the Lord in it, and then this magnum opus, Srimad Bhagavatam, is created. Anybody knows how many shlokas are there? Children, huh? Children. Anybody knows how many shlokas are there in Srimad Bhagavatam? Homework. Homework, okay? So basically, Bhagavatam is nothing but 3 things. Bhagavatam consists of 3 things, 3 prominent things. Bhagavatam is glorification of Bhagwan, glorification of Bhakt, and the linking process of Bhagwan to Bhakt, which is Bhakti. So Bhagavatam is just these 3 things. It is glorification of these 3. But the problem, the problem with the Jiva souls is we are engaged in so many unnecessary materialistic activities that we do not realize this. And because we are engaged in so many materialistic activities, for the betterment of the whole humanity, Srila Vyasdev has compiled Srimad Bhagavatam. So remember, in the beginning of the class, I said there has to be, whenever we read something, there has to be what is in it for me. So what is in it for me? There is something in it for me. What is that something? That is, when we do not need to be engaged in so many materialistic activities that we forget our main dharma, our main activity. And how Srimad Bhagavatam only describes how the jivas are engaged in so many other activities and how that does not satisfy the heart. We can be engaged, and this is not something to be read and like, okay, Srimad Bhagavatam is talking about someone else for someone else. No, Srimad Bhagavatam is talking for us. So whenever we read Srimad Bhagavatam, we have to see what is in it for me. Am I also doing these activities that is not giving my heart happiness? So this is from the first canto, 7th chapter, 6th shloka. Anarthopasham sakshat bhakti yoga madhukshaje lokasyanto vidamscha chakre sattvata samhitam. So the material miseries of the living entity, which are superfluous to him, can be directly mitigated by the linking process of devotional service. But the mass of the people do not know this. And therefore, the learned Vedyas compiled this Vedic literature, which is in relation to the supreme truth. So how do we bring an end to material miseries? Only by performing bhakti. And for the benefit of whole mankind, Vyasadeva has compiled this divine, transcendental, spiritual literature, Srimad Bhagavatam, which is non-different from Sri Krishna. So, have you ever seen like people buying Srimad Bhagavatam from the temple? We have our bookstore, we have so many literatures, but people buy Srimad Bhagavatam. Then whenever we buy a book, what do? We buy a book, we open it and we start reading. But Srimad Bhagavatam is not a book where you buy it and you start reading right away. Why? Because Srimad Bhagavatam is Bhagavan himself. Remember, we told Krishna himself comes back as Srimad Bhagavatam. So Bhagavatam is properly installed first. We offer Aarti to Bhagavatam, and then it's not like it's kept there. Then we start reading it. So not like you start reading right away, and not like you just do Aarti and not read it. Both things are important. And what is the benefit of reading Srimad Bhagavatam? That is answered in this shloka. Came up, right? Yeah. This is shloka number 1.7.7. Yasyam vaishuyamānāyam Krishna param purushe bhakti rupa palatyate pumsa shoka moha bhayapaha. What is when we give oral reception, when we hear sincerely to Srimad Bhagavatam, what happens? A feeling of bhakti towards Krishna arises. Simply by giving oral reception to this Vedic literature, the feeling for loving devotional service to Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, sprouts up at once to extinguish the fire of lamentation, illusion, and fearfulness. So what is there in Bhagavatam for us? How many of us lament sometimes? How many of us are illusioned sometimes? And how many of us are fearful sometimes? Is there anybody who can say that I am not any of these three things any time in my point of life? Can anybody say like that? Is it possible? No, it's not possible. So what is there in Srimad Bhagavatam for us? It removes lamentation, fear, illusion. So that is one of the reasons why we should read Srimad Bhagavatam, or we should hear Srimad Bhagavatam. But the thing is, it has to be attentive hearing and attentive reading. So everybody together, right? So far. Now, have you all gone to book launch events, or anybody has gone to like where what are those things called, where the cook presents a lot of things live, like he makes cookery shows, right? Live cookery show or book launch event. Anybody has been there? Like a famous author comes, bestseller, New York Times bestseller. He comes and then he has written so many books, and the media is there and asking, oh yeah, so this is a great book, but you have written so many books, this is your 51st book. Which book is your favorite? And the author would say, yeah, all books are nice. I've written all of them. But this book gave me immense joy and satisfaction in my heart. And what are your chances of reading those other 50? And what are the chances of you reading this book that he said it gave me immense joy and satisfaction to the heart? The chances are definitely higher that what the author says, it gave me satisfaction. You will also read that book, right? Similarly, like a cook makes so many things, and somebody asks, okay, what is your favorite preparation among all of these? Which one do you like? Then the cook says, okay, I like this gobi Manchurian. It took a lot of time, but I like this. Then your chances of eating that would be higher, right? Your inclination to eat that would be higher. So Srila Vyasadeva himself says, this Srimad Bhagavatam gave me immense joy and satisfaction in the heart. So, like the phrase is there directly from the horse's mouth. I'm not comparing Vyasadeva to a horse, but like directly from the horse's mouth. He is saying, this is the book which gave me immense satisfaction and peace to the author, and it gives the same to the reader also, right? And we talked about the 4 Purusharthas and what are their problems. And we said that materially motivated religion is not appreciated. Then what kind of religion is appreciated? Right? What kind of religion is appreciated? That answer, that religion means dharma. What is our eternal dharma? Savai humso paro dharmo yato bhaktera dhukshaje ahetuki apratihata yayatma suprasidati. The famous shloka. What is the supreme occupation for all human mankind? And that is by which men can attain to loving devotional service unto the transcendental Lord. We have many dharmas, right? Swadharma, Parodharma, but what is the supreme dharma? The supreme dharma is service to the supreme Lord, right? And devotional service, what kind of devotional service should it? It should be ahetuki apratihata. What does that mean? Unmotivated and uninterrupted. Yes. Yeah. So this, how to perform bhakti? Ahetuki and apratihata, without any motive, without any interruption. And what does this kind of bhakti give? It gives yayatma, our atma, suprasidati. It gives satisfaction to the heart. Now, the question is, I am performing bhakti for so many days, months, years, decades. Why is that satisfaction not coming in my heart? I just do my 16 rounds. I just do my deity worship. I just do reading. Why is it that I'm still not satisfied? Why am I not able to feel that? The answer, why is the heart not able to feel that? That time we need to check our motives. Why? Is my motive a pleasure of Supreme Personality of Godhead? Is there some other motive? If there is some other motive, we cannot be completely happy. Then we have to check the consistency. Are we consistent? One day 4 rounds, another day 2 rounds, and one day, oh, I'm always chanting. The Lord's name is going in my head. Always. I'm always in Lord's thoughts. That is not consistent. That is good. Much better than somebody who does not even remember the Lord. But we have to progress. We cannot stay at kindergarten level. We have to move forward. So we have to check our consistency. So satisfaction in heart and advancement in bhakti depends upon purity of our intent and consistency in attempts. This was such a nice statement. I thought, I should just frame this and put it in my house somewhere. So wonderful. Satisfaction in heart and advancement in bhakti depends upon purity of our intent and consistency in our attempts. And bhakti, we all know, it is causeless. There is no separate cause for it, and ceaseless. It can never be interrupted. So we were talking about Srimad Bhagavatam, and it contains glories of the Lord, right? Glories of the Lord means it contains Krishna Katha. Now, Krishna Katha, it gives satisfaction to the author, Vyasdev. It gives satisfaction to us who is reading it. But do you know, Krishna Katha is so absolute, it gives satisfaction to the Lord also. The Lord is also satisfied hearing his own Katha. Anybody? Any guesses? How is the Lord satisfied hearing his own Katha? Now it should spark up, right? The Lord, what was the Lord doing? When this form of Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, Maya was manifested, what was actually happening? The Lord was hearing his own Katha and he became happy. Not happy, happy is an understatement. The Lord became ecstatic, so ecstatic that his limbs went inside, his bodily features changed. We are happy, we will only smile a little. Some changes will come on our face. We will be happy, our eyes will light up. Look at the Lord. So everybody knows the pastime, but it's so sweet. We'll just go over it. So what happens during this pastime? Mother Rohini, she was in Dwarka, and Mother Rohini is one person who was there in Vrindavan also. So she has seen the childhood of Krishna. Now these queens of Dwarka, they are like, Krishna is always talking about Vrindavan, always talking about the gopis, always in thoughts of there only. What is so special? We don't know, we were not there. So we need to find out what was so special in Krishna's childhood. So they said we have to find out from someone who was there in Krishna's childhood. And who was there? Mother Rohini was there. So all the queens go to Mother Rohini and they ask Mother Rohini, Mata, can you please describe Krishna's glories of Vrindavan to us? So Mother Rohini says, okay, I will describe, but you have to be careful because if Krishna and Balram hear those glories, that this is happening, they will leave all the work that's happening in the assembly and they will come and hear. So they say, okay, don't worry, we'll have Subhadra stand on the door and become the watchman and make sure Krishna and Balram don't come. And if by chance they come, she will inform us. Okay. So inside the room, Rohini Mata is describing Krishna's childhood pastimes and Balramji's childhood pastime, and Mother Subhadra is standing on the door. So it's good to narrate this pastime because, as Prabhuji mentioned, 3 weeks from now we will be celebrating Rath Yatra. The Lord Jagannath, Lord of the universe, will come out and give us darshan. So okay, Mother Rohini is standing there on the door. Now, Subhadra Maya is standing on the door and Mother Rohini starts the pastimes. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then, Subhadra Maya starts feeling the pain. Arey, how can I miss out? So many pastimes are being told. How can I not hear? So Subhadra Maya peeps in and she starts hearing the pastimes of Krishna and Balram. And when she peeps in, she starts hearing what happens. Krishna Katha gives immense pleasure and satisfaction to the heart, and bodily symptoms change. Subhadra Maya's limbs coincide, and that very moment, Krishna and Balram also come and stand on both sides of Subhadra Maya. So, so Krishna and Balram, the brothers of Subhadra Maya stand on both sides. And that very moment, they also start hearing. And as I said, Krishna Katha not only gives satisfaction to the author, to the hearer, to Krishna himself. And Krishna becomes ecstatic. And look at that form. Like, can anybody be more beautiful than Jagannath? Look at Jagannath, how beautiful he is. The smile, like, when I had heard the phrase smiling from ear to ear. I never understood what smiling from ear to ear means. When I saw Jagannath, that is what smiling ear to ear. Look at that smile. He's so happy. His eyes are lit up. Look at Baldevji. Look at Subhadra Maya. They all are ecstatic. And this form that Krishna and Balram exhibit, that very moment Narad Muni comes and he takes darshan of that form and he becomes so happy. And he says, let that form become permanent. So Krishna says, okay, if you so desire, I will do that. And I will come as Jagannath in Jagannath Puri. And we all know, anybody here from Puri? No one? We are missing. Okay. So ask the devotees from Jagannath Puri. For them, Jagannath is a part of their life. Nothing in their house happens without Jagannath. They call out to Jagannath with so much love, so much devotion, and they are serving Jagannath with a lot of love in this Kali Yuga. So, another glories of Krishna Katha. Now we will try to see, we all know we are worshippers of, we are Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, right? So we worship Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is none other than Krishna and Radharani together in the mood of Srimati Radharani. So let us try to see that what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has to say about Srimad Bhagavatam. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this famous verse is there where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, oh sorry, Aradhyo Bhagavan Vrajesh Tanayas. Aradhyo Bhagavan Vrajesh Tanayam. So, Aradhya means the one whom we worship. Vraj Esh. Vraj Ish. Who is the Tanay of Vrajesh. Vrajesh is who? Nanda Maharaj, the king of Vraja, that is Nanda Baba. And who is Tanay, Sut or son? That is Krishna. So who is our Aradhya, worshipable Lord? That is Krishna. Tad Dhama Vrindavana, which is the topmost purifying Dham, that is Vrindavan Dham. Ramya Kaschid Upasana Vrajavadu Vargena Va Kalpita. That is, who are the topmost devotees, the Vrajavadhus, which are the gopis. Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam. Shri Radha Gopi Janmala Bhagwan ki jai. Nitai Patit Pavan Gaur Hari ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, worshipable Lord Krishna, topmost Dham Vrindavan, topmost devotees, Vrajavadhus, which are the gopis, Pramanam Amalam, the spotless authority in Vedic literature is Srimad Bhagavatam, Prema Pumartho Mahan. And what we get is Prema, love of God. So if we are worshippers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, if we come to the temple and we want to worship the Lord, then we need to follow the teachings of the Lord. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself gives these 5 things that are most important in our life. The 5 most important things in our life. And one of those is Srimad Bhagavatam. Second, we are also called Rupanugas. We are followers of Srila Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami, in his famous Nectar of Devotion, Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, he has given 5 things by which we will get faith, and we need to do these 5 things in our life. What are those 5 things? Sadhu Sangha, Nama Kirtana, Bhagavat Shravan, Mathura Vas, Shri Murte Shraddhaya Sevana. So these are the 5 angas of bhakti. And in this also, Srila Rupa Goswami also brings the point of Bhagavat Shravan. So we need to understand, right, the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recommends it, Rupa Goswami recommends it, the author recommends it. Okay. Next is Sanatan Goswami. Sanatan Goswami is beautiful. This verse is from the song Sarva Shastrabdi Piyusha. This song, beautiful. It's a very powerful shloka. Actually, we can recite Madeka Bandho Matsangin Madguru Man Mahadhana Man Nishtaraka Man Madbhagya Madananda Namostute. What is Sanatan Goswami saying in this verse? O Srimad Bhagavatam, O my only friend, O my companion, O my teacher, O my great wealth, O my deliverer, O my good fortune, O my bliss, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. So Sanatan Goswami also very strongly recommends and feels that Srimad Bhagavatam is our friend, companion, teacher, wealth, fortune, and we need to offer our respects unto Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, if we had to describe Srimad Bhagavatam in one phrase, if we want to describe Srimad Bhagavatam, the line should be Shri Krishna Parivartita. Shri Krishna Parivartita means Krishna who has actually returned back to us. If we read the translation, O life breath of the Vaishnava devotees, O Lord, you are the sun which has arisen to dispel the darkness of the Kali Yuga. You are actually Krishna who has returned among us. So Sanatan Goswami in this song, another verse he says, this Bhagavad Purana is nothing but Shri Krishna Parivartita. Shri Krishna who has come back. Amazing, right? When I was preparing for this today's class, after that, when today morning I was hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, I was thinking this is amazing. If we just remember these points about Srimad Bhagavatam, our oral reception to Srimad Bhagavatam would increase. So that is about Sanatan Goswami, and then, of course, our divine grace, Srila Prabhupada. The whole world would be sleeping, but Srila Prabhupada would be up translating Srimad Bhagavatam. Why? For all of us. That much importance Srila Prabhupada gave to Srimad Bhagavatam. And we all know Srila Prabhupada has established this society, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, based on the teachings of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. Imagine Srila Prabhupada was such a busy man, so much outreach, so many temples, so much management. But Srila Prabhupada never compromised on Bhagavatam study and translation. He would be up, he would be translating, and he would be reading Srimad Bhagavatam. And Srila Prabhupada's contribution, we cannot, we cannot say it's less. It's actually very much. Because most of the times, if we read Srimad Bhagavatam, have you seen the words? Like some of the words, one word will start from one side of the page, and the whole would be one word only, one Sanskrit word. And it's next to impossible for a person like me to recite it. I cannot recite that much pure Sanskrit. And what did Srila Prabhupada do? He translated it into a language that we all can speak. He translated it into English so that we understand it. So, if we just see what all that Srila Prabhupada did, he did the transliteration, which is known as Uchcharan. Those words that we cannot pronounce, Srila Prabhupada did it for us. Then he did word division, which is division, Sandhi. In Hindi, we must have heard, right? In grammar. Sandhi Vichhed. Srila Prabhupada did that for us. If he did not do that, one word has one meaning, but we would recite it in another way, and the meaning would be completely gone. Then, of course, he gave the synonyms, and without doubt, he gave the translation for us to understand. And most importantly, he gave the purports. Because even with so much, with the word division, with the synonyms, with the translation, our mind will not understand what is the meaning, motive behind that verse. And Srila Prabhupada spent hours to give the purport. So it is very important that when we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, not only do we read the shlokas, the translation, but we also read the purport. Because sometimes what our brain is telling us that this is the meaning, and our brain is understanding from that meaning, That is not the meaning. When we read the purport, then, oh, this actually the verse means. So many times we have a doubt in our heart and mind, and we open Srimad Bhagavatam, and somehow or the other, we'll come across a word which will clarify our doubt. That's Krishna speaking to us through Srila Prabhupada. So that is the glory of Srimad Bhagavatam. Now it's already 2:08, so we'll go quickly. Some facts about Srimad Bhagavatam. Now your homework is done for the children who are already, it's okay, we'll skip the slide. Then the 10 topics that are covered in Srimad Bhagavatam. This is, like when you want to read something, you should always know what is there. So the universal creation, then the secondary creation, then the positioning of the living entities, then the Lord's protection, inclination to act, then the Manvantaras, so how the Manus were there, or that lineage, then the topics of the Lord's various incarnation. We talked about all the Dashavatars are in this one avatar, Grantha avatar. Then there is annihilation, liberation, and of course, the supreme shelter of Lord Krishna Ashraya. So we'll go. Then Srimad Bhagavatam is compared to Lord Krishna's body. So there are 18 cantos. So everybody knows this. So we'll just skip forward through this slide. All the 18 cantos are defining the Lord's body from head to toe. So another thing that is important to read Srimad Bhagavatam is I had mentioned, right? We need to give sincere oral reception. Another thing that is very important is to go in order. We do not jump on to the cantos that we like to read or we want to read without reading the previous cantos. Like if we've already finished Srimad Bhagavatam once and then we want to refer, then it's okay, we can read bits and pieces here and there. But at least for the first time, we need to go in order. Because the first 9 cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam describe the Lord's greatness. And once we know somebody's greatness, then only we can relish that person's sweetness. So the 10th canto, which is our Krishna book, is nothing but the sweetness of the Lord. But to relish the sweetness of the Lord, we need to understand the greatness of the Lord. That's why we need to read the first 9 cantos and then move on to the 10th canto. And this was a verse that I really liked, which just describes that Srimad Bhagavatam is declared to be the essence of all Vedanta philosophy. One who has felt satisfaction from its nectarian mellow will never be attracted to any other Vedic literature. So like I was just thinking, Bhagavad Gita also we read, but Bhagavad Gita doesn't have stories. It's only philosophy. So if you really want to relish, read Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah, so now we have understood that how great Srimad Bhagavatam is and what is in it for us. Now, what is our duty? The acharyas and everyone have done their duty. So this was a nice analogy that came. And we have all been in India, right? We have all stayed in India during the monsoon season. Now in the monsoon season, there are pagdandis. Anybody has heard the word pagdandi? Pagdandi means a path which is not like a concrete road or something. It is like a path. And during the monsoon season, what happens? All the weeds and everything grow up on that path. And that path becomes difficult to travel, right? Then over a few more monsoons, nobody travels on that path. And what happens finally? One monsoon, that path is gone. So when we, as practicing devotees, we have to understand one thing, that to preserve something, what we can do. Bhakti is not only for us, but bhakti is to be distributed. So what is our duty? To preserve all these Vedic literatures. What are we supposed to do? Like supposing like when our moms used to make achars, achar, then pickles. Then sometimes, she would say, okay, somebody would come, I'll take it out in the summer. So that would be kept in a pot and saved inside, right? That is preservation. We have to preserve gold. What will we do? We'll put it in the locker and preserve it. Nobody will take it out. You will wear it the day you bought it, and then it's kept in the locker only. Nobody will ever use it. That is preservation. Achars are preserved, gold is preserved. But when it comes to scriptures, preservation means propagation. Like somebody has to walk that path and take out those weeds, then that path would stay accessible. So when we read the scriptures, when we preach those scriptures, then we are keeping that path accessible for the whole human mankind. That is what is meant by keeping the path accessible. Preservation by propagation. We need to speak about it. And we all know, right? Our senses cannot be controlled, but they can be dovetailed. There is so much to talk about. Why not talk about the Lord? It will give satisfaction to the heart of the speaker and satisfaction to the heart of the hearer. So let's speak about the Lord. And our acharyas, we cannot be ever grateful to them for, propagating the message, the pure message of Vedic knowledge and preserving it. Again, preservation by propagation. So, yeah, this is Srila Prabhupada, preservation by propagation. So, in our own lives also, we are grateful that we are, one thing is we belong to this modern age where technology is so accessible. Second thing is we are related to the temple. In the temple, like this is Srila Prabhupada's morning program. Anywhere in the world, you go to any ISKCON temple, there is a morning program which culminates with prasadam, but before the prasadam is the Srimad Bhagavatam class. And Srila Prabhupada made sure that even if there is nobody coming, the Srimad Bhagavatam class should go on. There has to be one person who speaks Srimad Bhagavatam. That much importance Srila Prabhupada put and emphasized on speaking Srimad Bhagavatam and hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. So in our temple also, every morning we have the Srimad Bhagavatam class. So the temple residents always speak. So Monday Srila Prabhupada speaks, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday the temple resident speaks, and Saturday and Sunday other devotees speak. So if anybody does not know, the link is on the, you can take pictures. This is the Zoom class. Sometimes if you cannot come, like you have work, you cannot come to the temple, then you can just put it on your Zoom, and like you are cooking or you are doing something at your home, you can still hear Srimad Bhagavatam. And this is a great way to start your day and get into that practice of consistency. Consistency is important in our devotional service. And I think with that is all. It's already 2:15. So with that, I would like to end my class. Please forgive me if I spoke anything that was not appropriate as your humble servant. And very grateful for your patience, audience. If there is anything in this class that inspires you, then we have Srimad Bhagavatam sets in our temple. You can always purchase it. There is, you can see any of the temple residents, anybody. But please incorporate Srimad Bhagavatam in your life and see the change that it will bring. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, और भक्तवृंद की।
श्री गौरंगी माता जी की